So hello. So I was given an assignment to create a UI with job listings and options to filter the data and pagination on the UI. So this is a video for the explanation of code and the results. So moving to the code. So the application frontend is built on Angular as it was suggested in the statement. So you can see that we have the app router which we have used here, and this is our main page. So I would start the server by npm start. So I've used a proxy server for accessing the cross origin API for the job API. So it's now building the development server, and let's go to here we are. So it's localhost 4200 EntryLevelJob UI. So it's a very minimal UI with just a Bootstrap components. So we have a type filter and a category filter. The data being fetched dynamically from the API as well. So on the page we have our navbar component, the left section for the filter form, and the right is the response being this part with the pagination component. Now going one by one, we have we go to the functions. So we have on init that runs on the start of the application or the page, which gets us the job types and the job categories from the API. So API service, and then sets the jobs accordingly. At first all the filters are nil, so all the jobs is fetched, and we are supposed to fetch only 10 at one time. So that's what's been done here. Now we have a get job. Get job has actually, and what I would say is going to the API services, the get job API actually fetches us limit +1 data. So the limit 1 + 1 is there. So for displaying 10 jobs, I have been pulling 11 jobs. So if the server responds me with 11 jobs, I would make sure that there is another page after that I can display. So that helps me to make the pagination buttons enabled or disabled. So for now, as there is another page after this, because I know that I have fetched 11, so I have the next active. But if we go to obscure category, maybe research, and filter it, now we have 10 jobs. Next page also 10, also 10. So there is a lot of, so like this, and we see that now the previous is active as well, because we went to the next. So the previous gets activated and the previous is nil at our source or 0 page. There are no contracts, so for getting, yeah. So here we can see the next is disabled because it fetched only 7, which is less than 10 or 10. So that's how the logic works for the pagination. Similarly, we have filters, as you saw, full time, and it gives us the full time. If we change the filter hardware engineering, so it gives us the hardware engineering jobs, and full time hardware engineering we have only 9 jobs. So what is happening here is we don't get this one. We have no previous, we have no next, and this brings us back to our home. Now here we have this for each tab we have the name of the internship, the role, the company, its location, and these are the fields which I have. One is for the type of job, which is full-time or internship or anything else, and the category of job, that's analyst or marketing or business. And this link right here takes us to the application page. Yeah, so that's the functionality, and I have used components inside to make the code a bit modular, so that would be visible right here, where we have a component for the pagination, which is the app pagination, which has some input variables, some props which are sent, or filter form, the form of filtering, because we modify it during the pagination, the page changes. And similarly, on page change is a function that handles the page change event, and two boolean variables to enable and disable the next and previous counters of the pagination. Going to the component, we have all these public variables, and the title, which is the page title, filter form, which you just saw, and we have the card component, mostly Bootstrap with some handwritten CSS as well. I have used the SAS format, which is inbuilt with more compliant with Angular, so it's easy to use. And then we have the function here, so we have the input job and nothing else in the card, which is just a static display. But for the pagination, in the component we have some inputs, some outputs, and the next page and previous page functions. So that is about it in this application. So thank you for watching.